We're here today with James O'Connor, designer of Jewelers Row, and welcome to Dino World. Welcome to Design Diary, the podcast where you get to look inside my board game design notebook as well as what's going on inside my head. We look at a new word each day from the sense of mechanics, tone, theme, or inspiration for a full game. Today's word is Reify, to consider or represent something abstract as a material or concrete thing, to give definite content and form to a concept or idea. So that's super vague, right? That's like
exactly
super general, and yeah, I would struggle with this one.
It was hard for me to come up with anything. At first, like the word abstract really jumped out at me, as in terms of like abstract strategy games or anything that was themeless, that might fit something in this context. But considering that you're trying to convey a specific idea or a concept through that is an abstract idea, but trying to make it more concrete in a way, that really threw me for a while. I couldn't really think of anything that would tie to it until I started thinking of trying to like take something nebulous and kind of morph it into something a little bit more concrete. And that led me to an idea of kind of playing with like clay or molding clay and trying to convey ideas with it. So what I finally ended up coming up with for this was trying to convey abstract ideas in kind of a charades party style situation by using like modeling clay or something like that. So you have one person, it's their turn, and they turn over a card and it's something very vague like love or faith or some sort of abstract concept, and they need to convey that using the modeling clay only. And they can like animate it or whatever else, but they need to convey this vague idea through a physical means by making a physical manifestation of that idea in the clay. And so they morph it, animate it, do whatever they need to do, and like shape it into a heart or whatever, and like pump it on their chest and like, oh, it's love. Okay, cool, you get some points and you can move on. And everyone would kind of go around and try to take these very vague into a physical form to try and convey the idea. I thought that might be an interesting space.
That is neat. That's modeling clay is cool, and I think of I don't know if you remember. There was a game for I think it was Nintendo 64. It was called Clay Fighters.
Oh yeah,
do you remember that at all?
I do.
I remember I would go up and rent that game over and over and over just because it was just. I mean, I think if you look at it now, the artwork's probably terrible, but it looked amazing at the time. It was so up my alley of just like creative stuff. But so
I remember seeing that on the shelf in Blockbuster, and I always thought about it, but I never bought it because the snowman on the front cover scared me so much.
It wasn't playful clay. It was definitely scary clay. So I thought about this just for a moment, and there were two things I thought. One was just almost like using cubes to build like pixel style images where you use the blocks to form larger pictures, almost like a Pictionary, but with just wooden cubes and things like that. I just got that out of the definition, trying to give content and form. And I think of the word concrete makes me think of a wooden cube. But the other thing, I did think of one other thing, and I had a game, and this is going way back, and it just reminded me of it. I had a game that I made. It was very abstract. It played on like a chessboard, but smaller. And I submitted it to I might have submitted it to like the Mensa contest, or maybe it was there was a game store that was in our malls, and I don't remember what it was called, but it was all abstract games, and it was sort of a chain. But they had a contest, and my game was called Block, but it was spelled Bloque because I knew that looked fancier and better than just calling it Block. And
did it have a little tick mark above the E?
It did, or the U, or somewhere, or the O, or somewhere it did. I was just looking for a picture of it before we started. But the idea of the game was you started in the corners, so you used your chessboard, you played it on a diamond, like you were at the points and not the edge. It was just head to head, and you started your 5 or 6 tokens in the corner, and you had a character, like a little pawn, and 5 blocks. And what you would do is you just had to get to your opponent's corner, And the way you would do it is you would move your pawn or you moved your blocks. But when you moved the block, you could push any other blocks that were attached to it or next to it. And if you push them off the edges, you eliminate them from the game. So it was, to me, this made me think of it because of the word concrete. It made me think of blocks, which made me think of the word block. My fake word block, or it must be French or something like that. And the
bloqué.
Yeah, the action of blocking as well. So that's kind of where I went with it, with something that I already had, but it's been years since I've even touched that game.
Oh, that's cool. I had a similar concept idea once for a game where you were playing on a chessboard, like you said, but your pieces were dice, and so you would roll your dice, and the values on the dice were kind of like their strength, and so you start with like a starting lineup of dice on some of the squares, and on your turn you could move a die, re-roll it to get a new value, or you could drop little cubes somewhere on the board, and cubes were kind of like eaten up by the dice, like Pac-Man style.
Oh, cool.
So if you moved your die over the blocks, you could eat them up and increase your die's value, or if you moved over your opponent's blocks, they would actually whittle down your dice until they were gone. And if your die ever like went below 0, you lost that die. Now it was you couldn't move it anymore. So you were trying to lay down blocks to make traps and stuff, and try to move your dice and put them in front of your opponent's dice so they would eat them up, and then try to get one of your dice across the board to the opponent's side. But that never went anywhere either.
Yeah, but I have so many of these things that never went anywhere. This one went to a contest and lost, so it technically went somewhere. But no.
Well, that's one step above many of my designs. So congratulations.
I don't even. I think that's where I could find it. Actually, if I search my email, I'll find the images, because this is going back multiple computers, probably like 2013, maybe. I don't know.
Oh man.
So yeah, I'll search my email.
Okay.
Cool. Anything? Did you get anything else? Did it spark any other ideas?
No, this one was just too vague for me. I'm sorry. I wanted to come up with something really cool, and I just really couldn't for this one. So I'll try better on the next one.
All right, cool. So tell everyone where they can get you, and then we'll jump into the next one for tomorrow.
Definitely. Yeah, you can hit me up on Twitter at Stellaris Games, Stellaris. That's where I'm primarily active. I'm also at stellaris.games@gmail.com.
Wonderful. All right, cool. We'll do this again tomorrow then.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yep.
Sounds good. Bye.